Hi, I'm Naomi McRae. I have a background in human resources, but I'm also a blood cancer survivor myself. And in this video, I'll give you some hints and tips on telling your employer about your diagnosis and working together to create a plan to manage any treatment and absence from work. I understand that telling your employer and your colleagues that you have been diagnosed or are being tested for a blood cancer or related condition can be a challenging and emotional conversation. You might be surprised to note that it is not actually a legal requirement to tell your employer, but in my experience it is a lot better to. Overall, employers are usually very understanding and are required by law to treat you in a fair and reasonable way. There are a few options available to you to inform your employer of your absence and of your situation. One option is a phone conversation. This might be the best option if you are not up to a face-to-face meeting or you are too unwell in hospital. Another option is an email from yourself or a family member if you cannot face a conversation, although often it is best to speak with your employer just to give them a chance to ask any relevant questions. A face-to-face meeting with your manager can also work well as another option. It does not need to be at work. It could be in a neutral environment like a coffee shop if you are well enough, and you can get someone to come along as a support person for you. This option is certainly a personal preference and does depend on the relationship you have with your manager or your employer. In terms of what to tell your employer, it is okay not to have all of the answers. Information you could share with them at this stage is: do you have a diagnosis? Are you at hospital or are you at home? You can tell them how you're feeling and how long you think you might need off work in the initial stages, but please note it is very normal for this to change as more information becomes available. Think about any key next steps that you are aware of and let them know. For example, any upcoming tests, appointments, or treatment that may be scheduled. Create a plan with your employer on what they will tell colleagues about your absence. They do not need to tell everyone the reason, but inevitably people will ask where you are if you are unable to attend work, so it is wise to agree some key points that can be shared with your team if appropriate. Agree to an open channel of communication. Write down conversations or get a family member to help you so you have a record of what was discussed, and email the discussion to your manager afterwards so everybody is on the same page. If you are continuing to work while you are undergoing tests and treatment, think of a list of work-related changes you think you might need. For example, if you're worried you'll feel tired or sick after chemotherapy, you may need to change your work schedule and take certain days off. I do understand there could be some nervousness around telling your manager for fear of job security. But there are laws that protect you from discrimination, and employers have to act in a fair and reasonable manner and make reasonable adjustments to help you manage through this time in your life. For example, giving you time off for doctor's appointments or chatting through flexible working options with you. And you can always talk to your HR representative if applicable in your organisation.